Good morning, welcome to the Pinktober edition of GTV Breakfast from now until the 31st of October 2022. I am Maltiti Saida Sadek. News-making headlines this morning. NADMO rescued over 300 residents displaced by Weija Dam spillage. Also, President Akufo-Addo met MMDCs and chiefs on the government announces the new co-producer prize. 2022 Ghana Teacher Awards held in Tamale. And on the foreign front, the World Health Organization sent alerts on cough syrups in Gambia for children that's linked to deaths. These are the stories ahead as I bring you the details. Now, follow us on social media. GTV Ghana, where we're streaming on YouTube, GBC Ghana as well, on DSTV channel 278. Let's start off with the Galamsey issue. And President Akufo-Addo has reiterated his commitment to working hand in hand with chiefs, traditional rulers, and all stakeholders in the fight against illegal mining. Galamsey, according to him, it is obvious that if we are to win the fight, you and I have to take the lead to collaborate closely to do so, quote unquote. That is why I am here today. Addressing the National House of Chiefs in Kumasi, the president noted that 80% of the lands in Ghana continue to be under custody of chiefs, whereas the remaining 20% is held in trust by the president. Therefore, he noted that ultimate welfare of state of the lands is the joint responsibility of chiefs and the president, although the statutes, the minerals in the soil belong to the president in trust for the people. President Akufo-Addo indicated that since he took office on January 7, 2017, he has made it a central feature of his presidency to lead in the efforts to rid the country of the menace of Galamsey, with a firm commitment made in his inaugural speech on the matter. The president said, quote, "We have tried many initiatives, including that of the community mining scheme and the establishment of a new legal regime for dealing with the perpetrators of this phenomenon, which has imposed severe sanctions on those Guineans and foreigners convicted of illegal mining. Still, we have not won the fight," unquote.
Representatives in each of your metropolises, municipalities, and districts. You are the representatives of the president. It cannot be that the president at the national level is waging a war against Galamsey and you at the local level, my representatives, are compromising that fight. That cannot work. I'm not here to threaten anybody, but I want you to know that this is a struggle that I take very seriously. And I will not be in a position to protect anybody against whom evidence is marshaled to show their complicity. I won't do it.
Away from the Ashanti region, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, says it is working effortlessly to rescue stranded victims in and around the Weija Dam. It says over 300 stranded victims have so far been rescued. It is urging residents affected by the floods due to the spillage of the dam to reach out on the 122 emergency hotline for immediate evacuation or seek refuge at higher grounds.
Report from the Marine Police and the 48th Engineers Regiment, NADMO says it is working to expand the estuary to facilitate the flow of the water into the sea. Over the years, activity in and around the Weija Dam site, including building on waterways, have contributed to flooding in the area whenever there is an overflow in the dam. This has resulted in flooding, causing destruction of lives and property. When GBC News visited the Weija township this morning, most of the houses have been submerged and some residents still displaced and counting their losses. The situation has also forced some schools in the area to close. The residents are appealing to the government and other relevant organizations to, as a matter of urgency, resolve the issue.
Too much. Village. Ne from say na am fashi. Ebi go fashi. On pa government fai. E ba ne ba kwe, be ne ba fe da mi ne ba wa Ghana bi fe ni da ne wona nu wonu.
Let's look at road infrastructure. Residents of Mala Misaba are calling on government to fix the bad road networks and a bridge, which hinder movement of vehicles, especially when it rains.
Malam is a township within the Wejak-Bawe Municipal Assembly. It has a population of over 25,000. For about 15 years now, Malam Bola Road near Bawe has been in a deplorable state. The road has developed wide potholes and the effect of erosion is visible. A bridge that connects Malam Bola Road and Malam Junction drainage system needs to be fixed urgently. During downpours, drivers and residents are always fixed. Some lives have been lost to the flood and properties worth thousands of Ghana cedis lost. Some residents alleged that the road was awarded to a Chinese company, Shan GC Jian Construction Limited, in July 2015 and re-awarded to another company, First Sky Company, yet work is still incomplete.
Ebe fladi biano yenko enja Malam Bola Road da yesre ban yesansre aban bio onye ya adom
isoto a edwin faso nti driver fo na isoto a akwa ni na sei yankata ko fa abo agu so na ya sei adwuma ni ya fere potu na ya ba kwa no so.
Shop owners along the road complained about the negative effect of the dusty nature of the road during dry seasons on their health.
Property rate. You 4 million
Every month.
Every year. Income tax. And for £40 yeah, in future, young woman in future, Musa, and why I learn course with it. Chianya, Bano, winning you. Yaya Bano, winning you.
Some metal scrap dealers and some residents have turned the storm drain into a refuse dump. Appeals to the authorities to come to their aid has not yielded any positive results.
Let's look at agriculture. Producer price for cocoa at 800 Ghana cedis per bag. The new price takes effect from Friday, October 14, 2022 for the 2022-2023 crop season. Now, this depicts a 21% increase from 10,560 Ghana cedis per ton to 12,800 Ghana cedis per ton. Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Wusue Friyakoto, made the announcement at a media briefing in Accra. Well, meanwhile, the minority is cautioned government that announcing the producer price below 1,000 Ghana cedis or 16,000 cedis per ton could trigger smuggling of the commodity. Addressing the media matters affecting cocoa in the country, the ranking member on the Finance Committee of Parliament, Dr. Kesil Atufosing, said the situation is creating uncertainty among farmers.
We wish to send a loud and clear message to this government that cocoa farmers are fed up and demand their cocoa prices now. The suspense cannot continue. The government should not announce any price below 1,000 Ghana cedis per bag. In other words, 16,000 Ghana cedis per metric ton. Ghanaians are all witnesses to the historic depreciation of the Ghana cedis. The year 2021-2022 crop season, Cocoa Board used an exchange rate of 6 cedis to $1. We wish to remind them that the dollar is now trading at more than 10 cedis 50 pesos per dollar. Even at the dollar equivalent price, farmers and all stakeholders, including the LBCs, licensed buying companies and hauliers, should receive higher prices and margins this year. On Friday, 30 September 2022, our neighboring country, the Ivory Coast, announced a price of 900 CFA, which is equivalent to 852 Ghana cedis per bag, or 13,632 per metric ton, even though their currency is not depreciating at this rate, as we have observed in Ghana. Let me caution that if this government fails to raise cocoa prices, it could trigger massive smuggling, particularly at a time when we need every single dollar. The NDC caucus in Parliament demands an urgent intervention from the President on the policy alternative we have provided in this statement, so our suffocating cocoa sector can be salvaged.
Now, still on the minority caucus in Parliament led by the ranking member on the Finance Committee, Dr. Kessel Atufosing, has blamed the inability of Cocoa Board to fully secure Parliament's approval of the $1.3 billion syndicated loan for cocoa on the lack of confidence in the Ghanaian economy.
For the first time in 30 years, the syndicated loan is typically signed before October, but oftentimes signed in August or September, so that the drawdown is timed to the start of the season. However, this government has added late signing of syndicated loans to its Pretoria of failures, first time in history. Parliament approved an amount of 1.3 billion US dollars syndicated loan. However, Cocoa Board could only get 1.1 billion US dollars. This is purely due to lack of confidence in the Ghanaian economy, obviously resulting from the generally agreed incompetence and gross mismanagement of the Ghanaian economy by this NPP administration. With a huge and unprecedented debt overhang on Cocoa Board itself, Cocoa Board financing today, I can say, is insolvent. With the syndicated loan, and I want to ask, will the syndicated loan go into the purchase of cocoa or its related operations? I also want to know that will the LBC suffer the same fate of borrowing very expensive loans to buy cocoa from farmers, only for Cocoa Board not to pay them, as we have seen since the year 2017 when this administration took office. You will recall that during the just ended season, the Cocoa Board took a loan of 1.3 billion US dollars to buy 850 tons of cocoa. It's about less than 700,000 metric tons. I can say that this year, Cocoa Board cannot and could not buy 700,000 metric tons of cocoa. This is the lowest production in more than 10 years, signifying that Cocoa Board is obviously going through a massive mismanagement.
Let's take you to the House now. President Akufo-Addo's lauded the Ghana Bar Association for maintaining its independence on matters of national interest, urging it to continue to engage in discourse to improve the lot of Ghanaians. The president was interacting with the leadership of the Ghana Bar Association, who called on him at the Jubilee House to thank him for attending the association's conference at home in the Volta region.
The association is an elite group, but to members of the legal circle, their contributions to the country's development, pre- and post-independence are immeasurable and impact directly on the lives of ordinary Ghanaians. President Akufo-Addo is not only a member of the Ghana Bar Association, but also the only president who has attended their annual conference of the association consistently.
You are the first Attorney General to attend the whole session of conference with us. As Foreign Minister, you're always at the opening ceremony. As flag bearer of your party, you never missed the opening ceremony. And as President, you've never missed the conference ceremony. And as I said, you know that when you leave office, you would also be attending. So, Mr. President, we are very grateful, and to at least put on record that we've never had anybody occupying the high office of President who has shown such commitment to the bar.
President Akufo-Addo urged the Ghana Bar Association to continue to share their thoughts on issues that will inure to the benefit of all Ghanaians.
I want to encourage you to continue the work that you're doing and the causes that you've taken up. I hear other people about it being an elite organization, etc. Well, I don't know what they understand by elite, but I know that an organization that is concerned about the welfare of the people, the quality of their governance, which has always been prepared, and its leaders have been prepared to make the sacrifices that were necessary to make sure that we have a modern and a respectable form of governance in our country. This cannot be an elite organization. It's an organization that speaks to the interests of the people of Ghana for accountable governance. And that is an organization that deserves the support of all right-thinking lawyers in the country.
Also at the Jubilee House on Wednesday were leadership from the Muslim community in the country. Their mission was to announce to the president the National Muslim Conference.
National Chief Imam succeeded in getting all the leaders of the various Muslim countries in this country together. And I can assure Your Excellency that all the Muslim strands of Muslim groups and organizations that you can find in this country, they are all represented here before you. With a humble request for recognition, official recognition, executive recognition, with the assurance through you to the people of this country called Ghana that Muslims have vowed never to remain scattered as we used to be or what we have known to be.
President Akufo-Addo said the formation of one body that will see to the welfare of Muslims in the country will promote peace and development.
We will do on our part as a government whatever is necessary to make sure that this relationship bears fruit, that the intercourse between the Muslim Conference and government is an intercourse that has positive results for both the Muslim community and the government and the people of Ghana. You already know my own commitment to see whatever can be done to bridge the gap between the Muslim community and the other peoples of Ghana. It is in my time that we established the Zongo Development Fund and appointed people of Muslim faith to handle this, to be an instrument for trying to work within the Muslim community. This has come, and it will be a great complement to the work that the public agencies like the Zongo Development Fund are going to do.
Let's still stay at the Jubilee House. The Second Millennium Challenge Cooperation Compact, which was signed in 2017, has successfully come to an end. The second compact, the Ghana Power Compact, was used to invest and double access to power in the country. The $498.2 million was disbursed to support the transformation of Ghana's electricity sector and stimulate private investment. The Board of Media on Wednesday presented its report to President Akufo-Addo at the Jubilee House. The president said the compact is a testimony of the growing cooperation between Ghana and the USA and hoped for a third package to continue with the program.
The 5-year compact was designed to create a self-sustaining energy sector in Ghana by reforming laws and regulations needed to transform the country's power sector. The compact supported the improved management of Ghana's entire power system, providing a more robust framework for private investment, as well as more competitive process to procure power from independent producers. It had challenges in distribution, generation, and access to energy in Ghana with the construction of 2 bulk supply points in Pokuase and Kasua, currently the largest and second largest in West Africa. The government of Ghana invested $37.4 million of its own funds in the initiative, making the compact a total investment of an approximate $535.6 million. Apart from the energy sector, the compact invested in refrigerator and air conditioner testing laboratory for the Ghana Standards Authority, retrofitting of 7 major government buildings in the ministries, including intervention at Kolebu and the University of Ghana. The board chair of MIDA, Professor Ya Intiama Beidu, was optimistic that all infrastructure will be properly managed after the compact.
In addition, we provided to ECG state-of-the-art meter management and geographic information systems, all of which will support their efforts aimed at loss control and improved profitability. Mr. President, it's gratifying for me to highlight that all the compact funds, including some $31 million provided by the government as counterpart funds, were fully utilized within the compact term.
President Akufo-Addo thanked the board and members of MIDA for executing Compa 2. He said the government will welcome the idea of Compa 3 if the proposal comes forward.
The power section, we all know, has a particular resonance in Ghana. We need to develop, Minister, more and more energy for all the things that we want to do in the country, especially now, where once we've settled these temporary financial matters, we're looking at the development of our bauxite and iron ore resources. And we know that, especially with the bauxite development, that is going to require lots of energy, competitively priced energy, at that to make it viable. So these interventions are all helping to strengthen and help us construct a viable power sector in our country.
The only challenge account is a U.S. government program that gives development aid in the form of grants to developing countries that adopt economic and political reforms. On May 6, in 2002, the Bush administration named the first 16 countries eligible to apply for MCE funds, which included Ghana. Edward Nyakun, reporting for GBC News.
As the role of the legislature challenges vulnerabilities and its limitations in practice in the Fourth Republic, were in focus at a colloquium to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Ghana School of Law class of 2002. Recommendations at the end of the meeting are expected to be published and a policy document developed to inform future deliberations on the course to be followed in the future.
Seminaries are the instance of students who were enlisted onto the Ghana Bar Association in the year 2002. 21 years on, the class is celebrating its anniversary with a number of activities, which includes the colloquium. The focus was on Parliament as a countervailing force for effective governance in the country, its challenges, prospects, and recommendations. The chairman of the National Media Commission and a member of the law class of 2002, Mr. Yawedu Ayebuafo, said, in spite of the weaknesses inherent in the 1992 Constitution, it has served the country in the practice of its democracy.
Now, there are many of us who are familiar with the background of the evolution of the 1992 Constitution. Whatever that had been the weaknesses of that Constitution, it has been a Constitution that has served us the longest. And so it means that there is something in it, and that if we are able to weave our way around it, we can consolidate it into a more functional thing, and that will help us to develop.
The minority leader in Parliament, Mr. Haruna Idrisu, suggested legislative and administrative changes required to improve the country's governance architecture. He said the bane of the country's parliament is its excessive partisanship nature.
Parliament itself does not avail itself for diligent scrutiny. Both administrations, NDC and MPP, you saw the SDS loan agreement pass through Parliament. You saw the CNTI loan agreement pass through Parliament. A mark of failure of our Parliament to undertake scrutiny and due diligence, because we want to satisfy the executive president.
The Deputy Attorney General, Mr. Alfred Tua Yeboah, also the Ghana School of Law class of 2002, was emphatic that Parliament has failed in performing certain tasks entrusted to it by the Constitution.
By our Constitution, there is no qualification criteria when it comes to skills as to who becomes a member of Parliament. In view of that, you may have people in Parliament who may never make any meaningful contribution when it comes to deliberations in Parliament. I know that's a fact. That the leader, majority leader, minority leader, they've lead most of the discussions. What about the others? Some also do it. But I think we may have to look at the qualification criteria. What we have now is very anemic. And because of that, with all due respect, you can have anyone with one qualification entering into Parliament. In such a situation.
Now, the Ethiopian government has announced that it had accepted an invitation from the African Union to hold peace talks with rebels in northern Tigray region without specifying a date or location. And we'll take the weather reports up next. And we have Joshua Samoa from the Ghana Meteorology Agency. He's going to give us a rundown of how the weather will look like today, Thursday, Throwback Thursday on GTV Breakfast. Hello, good morning, Joshua.
Good morning, Marty B.
Today's Thursday, drawing close to the weekend. How is our weather going?
Well, a very good morning to everyone watching. It looks quite good for us in the coastal portions of Ghana. It's been a bright start. We expect the cloud and the sun to alternate during the day. There's a low probability of rainfall for us very close to the coastline. For us, along the coast from Keita, Angloga to Accra, whenever, then Axim Hafasini, the chance that we'll get rainfall is quite low. But if you move inland into the inland part of the coastal sector, that's within the Greater Accra areas around Medina into the eastern region, for Volta region, Akachi areas, towards O area, and then in the western and central region around Takwa, Asimposu areas into the Ashanti region. There's a high possibility of rainfall later this afternoon. So if you're within the Ashanti inland part of the coastal sector into the eastern and Volta region, we should expect rainfall this afternoon around Jasikan, Dambai, and areas in the northern part of the country. That's OT into the northern region, Bimbila areas. Should also anticipate some rainfall activities in the afternoon. Northern Ghana is also quite bright. We had some rain tracking there in the night, so we are expecting some brighter conditions from now into the late afternoon hours. After that, we are seeing some rain clouds developing to the northern portions of Nigeria, edging closer to the country, and we expect this to produce rainfall in the night over areas in the northern portions of Ghana. So majority of the northern sector within the upper east, upper west, northern, northeast, and savannah regions are all likely to get some thunderstorms later tonight into dawn tomorrow. For us in the southern part, the chance is higher for the middle portions of the country and the inland areas of the coast. Areas very close to the coastline have a very low probability of rainfall. So temperatures for coastal Ghana will be around 31 degrees Celsius, same for the forest zone, and then about 30 degrees Celsius in the transition zone. Northern Ghana will also have around 32 degrees Celsius as the maximum temperature for the day. So the highest impact of rainfall will be experienced in the northern portions of the Ghana, and then part of the transition areas of coastal Ghana will just be cloud and sun, or just few areas getting rainfall.
Joshua Asamoah giving us a rundown of how the weather will look like. The northern portions will experience some rain. We don't know if there'll be floods just like what the people around Weija are facing, but hopefully not. And that's it for GTV Breakfast News. I am Malti Tisaida Sadek. Up next, how do you like your bread roast? Lady T is in the studio and she'll be teaching you how. I'll be back at 7 with sports. Stay with GTV Breakfast.